Bass-baritone Quinn Kelsey, and this is the Cvh Podcast.
That's what you say.
Yes. Thursday, May 4th. All right. Oh, I'm a little overblown here. Good morning. There's a lot going on. Right now I'm in two shows, and that's I love being in two shows, right? Double the performances. That's good. That's exactly where I want to be. However, it's been kind of exhausting. It's not vocally exhausting. That's not the problem. Singing Ramfis in Aida and singing Colline in La Boheme is not exhausting. Either one of those things independently. Even two of them in one day is not necessarily going to be vocally exhausting. But what is just the rotation of being in the shows. Back to back to back, that kind of thing. There's been a lot of nights in a row, and so I'm in trying to keep with my usual schedule. I'm finding that I'm a little burnt out. It's weird how things sort of stack up on you. Neither one of these things is difficult, and even the two of them vocally, are not difficult. But it is being engaged every day or so, or every other day. That's been kind of the challenge. And so not tomorrow, but Saturday rather, I have two shows in one day. We're going to do a La Boheme at the matinee in the afternoon, and that's going to be a Toll Brothers broadcast. And then in the evening, I'll be doing Aida. So I'm sure it's been done before at the Met. I don't think that's new ground or anything, but maybe the first time of roles of this size. That's certainly possible. I just like that I'm the only... just so clearly needed here that I have to be in both shows on the same day. It feeds my ego very well. There's just been tons going on. My sweet mama, who's been dealing with pain in her hips for a long time, finally had a hip replacement, and so been kind of trying to stay connected at home and sending as much love as we can to the family that's gathered, and trying to help through this kind of transitionary period where my mom has not walked a ton in the last 6 months, and now they've got her up on her feet, which is a miracle, but also kind of nuts. And so I think a hip replacement, when you're coming from a place of strength, is difficult. But if you're coming from a place of having not walked in a long time, it's a heavy extra challenge. So lots of thoughts and love going down to them, and dealing with that. It's weird. It's weird not to be present when big stuff's going on or surgery's going on, people dealing with stuff. I know people deal with new hips and new knees, and my mother is not new to any of this sort of surgery either. She's all kinds of bionic now, but just been extra busy and feeling the stress of all that. But that's part of it. That's what we're here for, life in the fast lane. I have found that when it starts to get overwhelming for me, and I know you guys think this too, everything starts to be, everything starts getting done at like 75%. And so I find that I have to reprioritize, and make sure that I'm doing the things that I'm responsible for first. And then the other part of it sort of has to go by the wayside and just take care of business, right? We're always talking about taking care of business, and that's kind of that's what happens when things get pretty stressful, and they feel a little bit like that. I guess I've felt worse, but this is probably the most in a while. I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying myself, but it's clear that I'm running ragged. At the same time, I've been knee deep in Bluebeard coaching. Trying to put this away too, trying to put this score away, which is proving impossible. It's not the language, it's not the music, it's the meter changing every measure. I'm finding that I have to now memorize this constant meter change. No complaints. I'm a singer. This is what we do. I prepared Wozzeck. I can handle bar talk. But that's been taking a ton of my time too, and because we're constantly having this rotation of singers in this Aida cast, in since December when we opened this thing, we have yet to have the same cast twice, and so yet again we're playing the tenor shuffle, and we're gonna have our third tenor this run join us for the rest of the shows. We hope, and I'm sure he can do it. But we're going to plug him in today, and so now we're getting called back in for Aida rehearsals. Which is completely fine. It's just not. It hadn't anticipated this extra stuff, and so it's getting in the way of the other things you're preparing. Blah blah blah. These are like the problems that nobody cares about. But when it rains, it pours, and that's how it goes. It looks like it's going to rain today, actually. Yeah. New York is odd. Everybody's back in heavy coats and hats and rain gear, and just, for a second there we thought it was all going to be summer, and now we're back to, early May, and it's barely breaking the mid-50s anymore. It's sort of the long, slow days of laying in the park are kind of over, at least for now. I see my time wrapping up pretty quick here in New York. I'm here until the 21st. What's today? The 4th? Okay, just like 2.5 weeks. But this has been a long gig. 4.5 months in New York has been a long gig. I won't be back for a minute. I'll be back in October. But in the meantime, we're right here. We're doing this. This is what we do. I'm gonna make an attempt, a real attempt on Saturday between my two shows, because I love you all so much. I'm gonna try and record a podcast between the episodes from my dressing room. I don't know if this is a good idea. I certainly don't have permission. I'm not sure I need it, but I'm going to just do it anyway. And it's always easier to get some forgiveness than permission. But I feel like it's my dressing room for those time periods. I could set up a microphone in there if I want. And if I drag a few colleagues in to come chat with me for a second, I think that'd be a lot of fun too. It could be that I'm biting off more than I can chew, but hey, there's like 3 real hours between the two shows where I'm not really necessarily needed for anything. And I don't think I'm going to come home. I think I'm just going to order dinner in and stay up at the theater. The Opera House PR team wants to get together and do a little thing about doing 2 shows in a day, but we'll see how that plays out too. You never know what content you might get bumped for. We live in a weird time. Everybody's just trying to get 2 seconds of the world's attention. And I'm no different. We're all doing the same thing. We're all just trying to just get people to look over at you for a second. What an odd way of doing business, but an unfortunate, necessary one. And I sit here and I talk to you like this, and I do. The people that listen to this, I got you from. It's longer than 2 seconds, but still, just telling people that there is a new podcast episode. I have to sit there and advertise it. Hey, look over here! Remind you over here. It's such an odd, never-ending beast that needs to be fed, and I don't see an end to it. I'd like to see it change a little bit. I'd like to get into the place where we just go back to being honest. I try that here. The content monsters of my feed, friends and not so friends, boy, it's heavy duty after a while. It's just heavy duty. We're painting. Don't believe everything you see. You young opera singers, the base of my fandom are young opera singers, and I'm here to tell you, just don't believe everything you see out there. It's not all rosy. Come here for a dose of reality. Successful reality, but still reality. This is my 4th month in Hell's Kitchen, and I'm never staying here again. This is not the glamorous life that we were never promised, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to try and keep it real here. I'm very allergic to the content monsters, and that's what I describe them as. And there's only a few that really get to me. I think we all know who they are. Generally, their stuff is very popular, spreads like wildfire, and is just a giant layer of bullshit. The reality is we get a little tired sometimes. The reality is your family member's in the hospital. The reality is you've been away from your home and your family for 4 months. That's more the reality that I want to try and portray here, because it's not all fun and games and roses and big paychecks and screaming audiences. Like there's a lot of price to pay here. I want everybody to recognize that. Yeah, but we've agreed. I've agreed. Until further notice, I've agreed, and we're gonna push on ahead and forward. So this Saturday, 2 shows and a podcast. That's my plan. I don't know if it's going to get there, but we're going to do our best. Yeah, everybody, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you shortly. Episode 200 and something, Cvh Podcast, Thursday, May 4th. I love you for listening, but you knew that. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.